What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. In today's episode, I sit down with Josh Spell, awesome guy. We hit hiring, of course, one of the biggest topics in our business. But more importantly, we talked about what he needs to do, get rid of the limiting beliefs, start right now. So many of you are going to resonate with Josh's situation. That's why I love doing these. So listen up, take the advice, take action today. If you are a listener of this podcast, please take action, do it, and then come on a business breakthrough, and then we'll talk about it. I love this stuff, and I love giving you guys the information you need to better your business. So check out this business breakthrough. Starts right now. Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. My man, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. I got my buddy Josh Spell with Josh Spell's painting and pressure washing. So are you still doing both, or are you just transitioning into painting?
I'm trying to transition into painting. I still do both at the time.
Good move.
Present time.
A little bit more income on the painting side, right?
Yeah.
Man, welcome. So what brings you, man? Let's talk about kind of really something that's going really well in your business and something that you wish could be going a little bit better.
Yeah. So going really well. I'm super busy. Unfortunately, it's just me and one helper, but he's in the National Guard right now, and he's away for 2 weeks for some type of training. So it's just me for 2 weeks. So I guess that's what's going good and bad.
Right.
Don't have a lot of help, but I'm super busy.
Yeah, super busy on the job site right now, dude.
Yeah.
Love it. In the grind, trying to get some I guess you're here for a pivot, man, maybe a new perspective. So, what's that thing in your business right now, man? Maybe you came with like one big question, one thing that's kind of like, I need an answer to this. What is that thing for you? What's an area of your business you're wanting some, strategy on, brother?
I think just like majority of other people hiring, like how do I hire good people? I know one thing I hear in a lot of your podcasts, like once I hire people, I'm scared to keep them busy.
Right. Yeah.
That type of thing. But I need help. I need guidance. I don't have sales experience, no material experience.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to go too far, but real quick, man, you owned a pressure washing business for how long?
Just about a year.
About a year. So you did it by yourself, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Easy business to do by yourself, right?
Super easy.
Grab the washer and go. But with painting, you're seeing the benefit, man. If I had somebody to cut that in, right? Or if I had somebody to prep that for me, man, this would go so quick. The first thing that we need to do, all right, because you've heard my podcast, I'm going to say, hey, you got to have confidence before you hire. You got to dig your well before you're thirsty. You got to have some sort of trusted marketing in place to make sure that you can confidently know that somebody who comes in is going to have work. But brother, right off the bat, you got to realize you are an employee of your own company right now. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that is that you are occupying space that one other person could actually occupy full time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So if you're in that position and you're busy, what I believe to be more than full time from the way you're describing it, you're working more than 40 hours, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I'm working from 6:30 to 4:35 every day.
There is room right now with what you're generating organically for one person to work full time. That needs to be something that you just understand, solidify, and then lock in as a truth in your business, 100%. Because again, if you weren't doing it, obviously you'd be making a little less money because you have to pay that person to do it. But what are you going to be doing in your free time? Building the business, right? Ideally, if someone else is doing work for you, you're not just going to be sitting there watching them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to be out marketing, networking, selling. I see you like to do a lot of commercial work. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just keeping me busy right now. I want to get into residential, but me and my dad know a lot of people in commercial, and that's what's keeping us busy right now.
So you brought dad in the picture. What's he do?
Yeah. Really, he doesn't do anything. Like I don't pay him for anything because he just had like liver transplant surgery. He
Sure.
can't get
Kind of
paid and
just
whatnot.
guide
But
guidance a little bit, so on and so forth.
yeah, he gives me knowledge on paint, like what I can
Love
do,
that.
can't do.
Can't beat
He
it.
actually calls on people. So I mean, he's a integral part in the business.
What's your goal, man? Why are you doing this?
My goal is one, I want to be free. Two, I want to be able to help people, kind of like you mentioned in your podcast. Like I want to get them on W-2, be a reason like they can buy a house, a car,
Sure.
provide for their family. Like I
Was
want
there
to grow
someone that you
big.
may have worked for in the past that suppressed your ability to grow? Is that, does that come from a place of like, man, like, I worked for somebody didn't appreciate me or didn't give me that opportunity. I want to give it to someone else because I know what it felt like.
Yeah, so I was in the oil field business. I'm from Louisiana, around
Okay.
Lafayette, Louisiana, and I was an estimator for the pipeline company, and they paid me $22 an hour from the time I started from until the time I left, and I was there
Okay.
for 4 years, and they never would give me a raise, and I knew my quality was higher than that.
So no
Quality
raise,
work.
no appreciation,
Yep,
right? Just kind of, hey, you're showing up, we're giving you money, do your work and go home, right?
yep,
And what did it create? Resentment. No matter what you were getting paid, you wanted to leave. You felt like you were there for survival, right? So you
yep.
know all these things kind of from your experience because I can resonate with that. I know what that feels like. So if that's one of your goals, then let me tell you something, man. It's a rarity, right? If no one knows about that goal, they can't buy into you. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't buy into the belief that you can make it happen, then ultimately, nothing's going to happen, right? So I know
Yep.
at this stage in your business because I can see it. I've been there. I have empathy toward it. You're not even sure if you're going to continue being successful, right? There's this
Mm-hmm.
thing of like, man, every job that's come by, I feel kind of lucky to get it. Has that been the case?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Because there's no strategy behind where the jobs are coming from. But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, man, that phone finds its way to ring. And it's like, I don't know if this is going to continue, but let's lock in a few foundational things. Number one, the market size is absolutely astronomical. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you
Oh, yeah.
really need to know if you enter into the painting business, right? Astronomical. That's just the residential side. You're playing around on the commercial side, which is even bigger. And then we're not even talking about the new construction side, which is even bigger right now. And then we're not even talking about fine finishing, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, it's not a matter of is there enough work? Let's make sure you understand that very clearly.
Right.
That's not going to be the big thing. So you're not lucky. You found a way to impact the market to where your name is being passed around some way or another. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. Number two, okay, this is the big one here. All right. There's no better time to begin the process of preparing for growth than right now. You know this. There's two things that you need to do in this stage of uncertainty, quote unquote, is to
Mm-hmm.
create the certainty. You're going to have to do it. It's going to have to happen. It's not like this thing that you could just postpone. It's better to do it now when you have very little to lose than when luck just so happens to compound. A lot of people wait for luck to compound to the point where they're really overwhelmed with the phone ringing and they're really underwhelmed with the amount of applicants they have. And then that's when chaos happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in a
Yep.
good position. I'm sure you have at least 2 or 3 jobs lined up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm booked out till October, and that's just by myself. So if I have other people, it'll be a lot
Right.
quicker. Yeah.
So this isn't a matter of finding work. You're clearly good at it. It's a matter of you actually hiring. So let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you, man, what has been stopping you from hiring?
Uh, just really don't know how to. I don't know how to create really engaging ad.
Sure.
There's a lot of stereotype that people are just in this business just for like beer money, and I want to avoid that. And then, like I said earlier, I'm scared to keep them busy once I have
Sure.
them on.
Are you doing industrial coatings?
No,
Are you doing electrostatic painting? Whatever that
no,
is. I can't
I
even
don't know. I
pronounce
don't
it.
even know what that is.
Are you doing fine finish cabinet refinishing?
Nope, just
Okay,
walls,
cool.
doors,
Do
trim.
you know that the average homeowner can paint a house
Yeah.
without being a professional painter? Isn't that something? Most of the time, homeowners are actually one of our biggest competition, right? Because if they think that they can do what you're going to do, why would they pay you to do it?
Right.
Either they don't feel like it, or they just, value a professional, one of the two reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the reality. The reason I'm saying this, man, is because not only is our market astronomical for the people that want the service, it's the labor pool is unlimited, because all you need is a human that's willing to learn. You don't need somebody with 20 years of painting experience. I'm sorry. If anyone's listening to this that's on the sidelines trying to get a job, fortunately, you better bring the character. You better bring the willingness to learn and be a part of a team. So that's what you're looking for is humans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. And, Nick Slavic, you probably know him, decent human being.
Decent human beings. Yeah.
Right? You should write that book, DHB. But it's important, man, because it's real. And we try to say this stuff because seeking what you're thinking that you need is somebody with level 10 skill, right? So the fear is that we get somebody with all this skill, and then they come with entitlement. They come with expectations. They come with attitude, and they come with this pressure that you're going to have to produce to keep them, right? Because you don't want to let them go because there's no work or you're not paying them enough. Bro, who cares, right? We need somebody that's willing to learn. So when you're building out this ad, you don't need to be a copywriter to come across from the heart, right? What you told me earlier, I'm looking to create an environment of growth. I'm looking to create an environment of legitimacy, W-2, payroll, personal development of, aspiring to achieve your financial goals within the scope and the realm of spells, painting, and pressure washing. If that aligns with what you're looking for and you want to be a part of a growing team, please apply. It doesn't need to be rocket science. It just needs to come from the heart, because what you're going to do, and you've heard me say this if you listen to my podcast, is you're going to filter out those that don't align with those values off the bat.
Yep.
So you just got to come from the heart. That doesn't take much time. Go on Indeed. I mean, they make it so easy. Just click the button and create the ad. But the hard part is filtering out the applicants, right? That's what's tricky, because people are going to apply to that. If you put a good dollar amount of what you're willing to pay, right? Have you thought about what you want to pay somebody with no experience and somebody with decent experience? Did you calculate that?
Yeah. So the helper that I have now has 0 experience, and I'm paying him 14 an hour, just starting out.
Sure.
Until he gets more, he gets better and whatnot. An experienced one, I'm willing to pay $18, $20 an hour. Then,
sure. Cool.
Yeah.
So at that rate, you're going to get tons of applicants, right? But the goal is to identify, well, number one, do I need someone with experience? At this point, it'd probably be beneficial to get someone that has painted before, not somebody that considers himself an expert. You don't need that right now. You're quote unquote the expert, right? There's only room for one expert on a job at this time. And I think this is a good way to organically grow. In other words, you want somebody that maybe has worked for a painting company before, that is pretty tired of the way they're treated, or maybe the boss doesn't keep them busy, or they don't have 40 hours a week. And what you want to do is just create that better opportunity. Number one, you said you're booked out to October. So at the very least, if you guys just go crazy, you guys will at least squeeze that job time down to maybe September. But during that time, you're going to be finding more work. So it's like, you're always going to stay ahead of the curve with one guy. But the mindset is that how do we get somebody from outer space through to us and then filter them out and make sure that we're getting a good applicant? All right. So let me ask you this. Have you ever conducted a formal interview with anyone before? Like, maybe you knew that guy who was your helper. Have you ever conducted that process? Like honestly, just curious.
No. So the guy that's my helper is my wife's cousin, who's a really good.
So it was kind of like, hey,
come
on and just come on the job, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So remember this great principle in business. When you're big, you act small. When you're small, you act big. If you do that in business, you make that a focus, you'll always be successful. So in other words, like right now, you're super small, right? It's just you. But the perception is that you're big. Okay. So hiring is just like marketing, right? And you want to create pretty much a ladder in your hiring process. It's like, okay, well, step one is you read my ad. Step two is you actually apply for the job. And then what I like to do in Indeed is create what I call a custom question, right? So it gives you the option before you create the ad to add a custom question. That question to me is the most important part of my hiring process. And the question is this: why do you want this job? That's it. Because what that's going to do, it's really going to help you filter out the applicants. All right. You're going to get all sorts of answers. What I'm looking for is somebody that is interested in the art of painting, that wants a quote unquote career or a long-term opportunity, and that values hard work. They'll put that in there. I love a finished product. I love working with my hands. I love painting, right? Like that's what you're looking for. You don't want somebody that says, need a job, need money, don't like my current job. Like we're not looking to be a means to an end to somebody. We're looking for them to get on our boat and to grow with us, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really important question. So that's step 3. They've answered that appropriately. Step 4, within Indeed, you just message them and say, hey, my name's Josh, owner of Spells Painting and Pressure Washing. I reviewed your application and so far I'm very impressed. The next step in our application process is a brief 5 to 10 minute phone interview. If you're interested in moving forward, please respond with the best time and date to reach you this week, along with the best phone number to call. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Something like that is big, even though you're small. Let me give you an example of what's small when you're big, okay? Hey, got your application. What's a good time to call? Now, naturally, it's just pretty simple, but that's not creating perception that they're entering to a better opportunity. It's like, oh, here goes another painting contractor that just wants me to just come, and I bet I won't even get a pay stub, right? Do you see the difference in just the wording, how that makes you feel? Hopefully when you heard that, you're like, that sounds like a great opportunity. And that's what we want to create, right? Because what that's going to do, it's going to force them to raise their standard, right? And what it's also going to do is it's going to force those who can't raise their standard to not apply. And that's good, because you don't have the luxury right now to be sifting through applicants, man. You need somebody quickly to come in and grow. You're not at that point where you can just churn people through. You don't have a system yet. You need someone that's going to be loyal enough to help you create it. All right. So as we continue our process, step 3, once you do that phone interview, you want to just ask honest questions, bro. Right. So what do you think are some questions that you would want to ask on a phone interview to really identify whether or not this person's worth meeting in person? What would be some questions you think of at the top of your head?
Man, honestly, I don't know.
That's all right. So number 1, guess what? Hey, just curious. Let's get some housekeeping items out of the way. Typically, we run a background check on all of our applicants. It's not a make or break, but I do like to know if there's anything that would come up on that background check before we run it. Would you care to elaborate if there's anything that would come up? People will tell you, they won't tell you, or, they'll say nothing, good. So perfect. We just want to be transparent, right? Number 2, do you have a valid driver's license? Do you have good transportation? Obviously, we want the answer to be yes. You don't have the luxury to be dealing with rides, right? Maybe later when you grow and you want to give someone an opportunity, great. At this stage in your business, that's a distraction, right? I'm all about giving opportunity at the right time when opportunity can be given. You're not in a position right now, Josh, to be doing favors. You need somebody that comes in on time, can work, can listen, can grow, and help you build a system, right? So that's the second question, is getting the housekeeping items out of the way. Then the third question is you're going to reference their experience. You just want to say, hey, tell me a little bit about your last job. Tell me a little bit about your painting experience. What skills do you have? What do you like doing? All right. So next question, are you currently employed? Now you might get that answer in the question before, but if it doesn't come up, you want to know, are they employed, or what happened at the previous job as to why they're not employed? Okay. So I like to stray away from people that are just not employed, like, without a really good reason,
Okay.
What I found, Josh, is that applicants that are working somewhere, that go somewhere else and are actively seeking, are really good employees, man. They're forward thinking, right? So not saying that's a deal breaker. Situations vary, but that's another question that you want to ask. What do you think about those questions, man?
Yeah, no, I like them. It definitely show if they're motivated.
Shows that they're motivated. But do you see how this process could really help you narrow down what you're looking for? Like, do you see how it could easily give you the insights that you need before you get to the job? A lot of people make the mistake of, hey, you know what? Why don't you just come to this job and, we'll get started and we'll see how you do. Now, naturally, okay, that makes sense. But ultimately, man, that's like inviting someone over to your house, without even meeting them, man. It's kind of just like, and that doesn't create the perception that they're in a position to grow. So as you continue, if you get a good vibe, you say, hey, all right, so next step on our hiring process. And at that point, like, it's like, we want them to feel like they're earning it, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask you this. You work in the oil industry?
Yep.
What was that hiring process like?
I had a phone interview, an in-person interview, and a second in-person interview, and then I was hired on.
1 to 10, how excited were you when you got that job?
Oh, I was excited. They painted a pretty picture of moving up and
Life-changing, right? It was one of
Yeah.
those things. It was an opportunity that you'll never forget. Now, did they disappoint you after? Sure.
Yeah.
Your job is to not do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So again, reference your experiences with these corporations and say, how did it make me feel? How loyal were you in the first 3 to 6 months to that company? Very loyal, because you were riding the wave of the promises that were made to you without the awareness that they weren't going to be met.
Mhm.
Then you started to get awareness and say, hey, man, this ain't what they said it was. Okay.
Yep.
So obviously, I'm sure promises are important. Don't make any, right? All you want to do is say, hey, we're a growing company. There is going to be opportunity, but it needs to be earned. That's it. And then you know what? You exceed expectations. When someone does well, that's when you offer the opportunity, because you don't want to be putting yourself in a position where somebody is simply hanging around you for the opportunity. Right now, the best thing you can give someone is a job. And that's what you're going to be giving them with a growing company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do, hopefully you're starting to see this, is we're limiting the pressure, because when you first came on here, it was like, I'm seeing a bunch of pressure that you're putting on your shoulders to put on this like immaculate opportunity. And it's like, it is an opportunity to work alongside you. You're a good guy and you want to grow, and you're going to provide a good job with good pay every week. So that's good enough right now. So make sure you keep that at bay, right? So last thing, in-person interview, you're looking for a few things. Number one, guess what? Making sure they're on time. If you're not on time to the in-person interview, you should be early. You're not going to be on time to my jobs. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear indicator. Keep the conversation short. Thank them. On to the next one. Don't even, I'm just giving you things that I've learned. I've been through it. I hired the guy that was late. Guess what happened? It was just one of those things. So let me save you some time. Second thing, right? So you did the in-person interview. You're in here, you're chatting back and forth. What you want to do is you want to ask them a question about a time where they made a mistake. And I just make that a focus. I'm not going to go through every interview question here, but I just want to know, are you going to deflect blame and admit that you made the mistake? Or are you going to tell me you don't make mistakes? Or are you going to own up to the mistake? All right. Because I need to know that when this person messes up, which everyone does, including myself, no one's perfect. Am I going to be able to coach this person through? Or are they going to give me, pushback and make me feel as though we didn't grow in that scenario and it's going to happen again? Clear indicator right there. Tell me about a time you made a mistake at a job and how'd you overcome it? I don't really make many mistakes. Oh, really? Yeah. You're going to hear that. So we've made it through the in-person interview. You get a good idea. Now, job isn't theirs yet. Hey, guess what? We have a working interview. I'm going to bring you on my next job. It's a 3-day working interview. After that 3 days, we're going to sit down one more time to see if this is a good fit. That's it. Okay. We're going to run the background check. I'm going to call your references. As long as everything lines up, I'll give you a start date. You have go ahead.
On that working interview, what are you having them do? Like
work. Just as if we hired them.
Are you? So if you're trying to hire a helper, you're having them do helper work. If you're trying to hire a lead, are you having them do lead work or just helper work, or
whatever skill set they're bringing, if any, is what they're going to do. Right.
Okay.
I mean, really, it's better than just saying they got the job and then 3 days later thinking, man, I probably shouldn't hire this guy. So it gives you an out.
Gotcha.
A fair out. And again, it gives them something to strive toward, right? You show up late on your first day in a working interview. That's a little bit different than somebody showing up late on the first day when we've told them they've been hired. It's just different. It's like, hey man, this wasn't a good fit. Seems like, sorry. And a lot of it sounds strict, but guess what, man? It takes a lot to own and run a business. You took all the risk. So it's one of those things where I'm very hard on on that process. And guess what? Once you make it in, we're good. I'm the coolest guy you'll ever work for. I love my team. I'll go to bat for you. I'll make sure you always have money. It's one of those things, man. It's like, but during that process, you're going to earn it, and you're not getting in without working for it. Right. So after that working interview, again, making it official. Now, if you go through the process, it's going to work unless you clearly missed the signs, and you will learn from that. Some people are sneaky. It happens. But again, but you have the luxury right now to do this and practice this system, because you don't have all this pressure around you about other employees and jobs. It's like worst case scenario, you just go back to doing what you're doing. You're surviving.
Yeah.
So any feedback on any of that, man? What do you think?
No, man, that's great advice. I'm excited to put it in motion.
You should. Yeah, man. So what's anything else you want to hit on, man? I think we tapped out hiring. I think you're really going to know once you get that. How about sales, man? Anything on the sales side? You doing well there?
So I don't have any sales experience. Mostly the jobs that I get are my dad's old client, because my dad used to have a painting company.
Sure.
But he did pretty much everything: roofing, painting, carpentry, all that work. So a lot of his old client, one of them is just probably one of the richest people around. He has work pretty much continuously.
So in other words, you have yet to generate your own customer.
For painting, yes. For pressure washing, I'll do Facebook ads and yard signs.
So you've navigated Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So you understand, how the dynamic of that actually really works. Beautiful.
I want to say I do.
Well, for the most part, like put the ad out, boost it, whatever,
targeting,
get people to message you, so on and so forth. Okay. So the goal early on, like, again, if you want to bless people, which it sounds like you want to do, you got to make sure that your company is full of fruits, man. You can't be giving out, weeds. So you got to make sure that you understand, like, right now, in the next 3 months is an investment. So see yourself as an investor of Spell's painting and pressure washing, not Josh Spell, dude, because that's going to mess with your mind. Again, if you're working every day, you got to be able to transition from employee to business owner and investor if you're a business owner. So that means that you need to understand the concept of reinvesting profits. Okay. Because if you're making money right now and you're just stacking it and you're taking it all, that's just almost like driving a car and never putting any gas back in the tank. You're going to hit E soon, dude. Don't wait until you hit E to then find the gas station. Okay. Put money back into the business. You got to take that profit. You got to start investing in professionals that can get your name out there. Right. And you got to have enough faith that that's what you need to do in order to grow your business. And you do it again and again and again and again and again. You build up your reputation and you get your name out there. Guess what? You pay $3,000. Good number that you probably thought at this point, maybe a lot, right? That's not a lot, really, for a solid marketing company to get your name out there. Guess what? When you go and do a job in an area that you otherwise wouldn't be in, and the neighbor walks over and says, "Hey, I'd like an estimate too." Well, guess what? That exposure had never happened had you have not made that investment. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about exposure. It's about being omnipresent. You got to have the website. You got to have the Google listing. You want to be on Thumbtack, Angie. You want to get Facebook ads out. All of these things can be done right now with the expectation that it's going to yield a long-term consistent result. And it's just a matter if you're going to pull the trigger on it.
So I just listened to one of your podcasts with Eric with Pathfinder. Would you recommend reaching out to Eric?
I love Eric, man. Great friend, Facebook guru. Yes, he's a specialist. That's what he does, right? He specializes in Facebook ads for painting contractors. So if you find a marketing company that just does marketing, how are they going to know the language of a painting contractor? Not just that, customers' language of what they want to see out of a painting contractor. So any specialist you find is their job is to deliver results. But yes, I do endorse Eric fully. I do think that it would be wise to also consider a Google presence. Okay. Now you can scroll through the podcast and see different episodes about the difference between Facebook leads and Google leads, so highly suggest, that's these are good investments, man. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, you have people in the group that you're currently in that have scaled the painting business. One specifically, Brad Ellison, from zero to he's going to pace $1 million. He's only been doing it for 4 months. And all it was is a mindset shift of, let me listen to the people that have already done it. Let me implement the things that they're saying and see what happens. You can create a painting business that hits $1 million in a year's time if you spend a ton of money on marketing and you are able to put together the right production teams. Now, whether that's subcontractors or employees takes longer, subcontractors a lot quicker, and there's no race to $1 million. I'm just saying that it's 100% possible. Yeah. It's just, you need to be omnipresent. You need people to see that logo you have there when they're ready for the paint job. Last thing I want to say, okay, because we're kind of running a little short on time. You've got to narrow down your brand.
That was going to be a question of mine.
You got to narrow down your brand. You got to go all in on the painting. Okay.
Okay.
I want a specialist.
Yeah. So right now I'm only Spells pressure washing. Like, right. I have painting as a service that I do, but that's the only thing that's on my logo. So
Keep the logo. Is it water in the logo? I can't really see it.
Yeah. So it's a house.
Let me see that thing. House. Dude, all you got to do is give someone that same logo and just tell them to make that swoosh a paintbrush. Keep the logo and just change that to a paintbrush and you got a logo, dude. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Go all in on the branding. Go. You're already doing it, man. So, I mean, it's not like this is just a trial. And worst case scenario, dude, I always look at it like this. You can always go back to pressure washing, man. If all this falls through, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, man. So what I wanted to do, and I know you signed up for Dripjobs, bro. I know you tried it out. I want to give you 60 days to come back. Okay.
So yeah, I signed up for Dripjobs. I was so busy, I didn't even have time to. I opened it up, but I didn't have time.
Now that we got to chat, man, I want to invest in you. I'm going to give you 60 days of it. No card, no charge, nothing, man. Just you need something, you know, to keep these customers organized, because what we're doing is we're digging our well before we're thirsty. All right, man.
Yeah.
Was this helpful?
Oh, super. Yeah.
All right.
Super
cool,
grateful.
Man. You need anything else, just let me know, man. Reach out to me. You got me on Facebook. So you got this, man. I also want to, I'm going to give you my hiring course too. Speed up your learning curve on that, man. So you could just get rocking.
Oh, dude. Super grateful. I really appreciate it.
Cool, man. Thanks for joining me on this, man. If you need anything else, Josh, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks, Tanner.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to that business breakthrough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition this episode to a testimonial. That's right. So one of our awesome Dripjobs users was kind enough to do a short testimonial for us. I asked him some questions that I'm sure a lot of us have about what Dripjobs is it valuable? So if you would like to sit and listen to this, I'd appreciate it. You can sit, hang around, and hear what one of our very happy clients has to say about Dripjobs for his business.
What's up, everyone? I'm here with Chris Rodriguez. He's here to share a little bit about Dripjobs and what it's been doing for him. I'll start off by saying, just give me some raw, authentic thoughts about it, man. What's it doing for you?
Honestly, it's been huge for us. The biggest thing I found is how much free time I've gotten now. Like, it's opened up a lot of time, not only in my business, but in my personal life. So that's been huge with like the automation, with the follow-ups and things like that. And also on top of that too, you know, the experience that it gives our customers, you know, how professional it looks from the beginning all the way to the end. You know, we really pride ourselves in the experience that we give to our customers too. So it's been perfect for us.
You getting any feedback from your customers about it?
Oh yeah, tons. Every time, like, I feel like 3 out of every 5 customers, you know, come back to us and be like, oh my God, I can't believe like how professional that was. Or, you know, you got back to us so quick, like the system's so cool and easy.
Yeah, it makes it easy. You know, one thing that we try to do is connect you to the customer in a way that where you almost feel like we work for you, you know. That's how it is, you know. And you know, that's cool, man. So you have the automation set up. What is the you know, what is the feedback in terms of the automated drips after you send a proposal out, right? So like, you send a proposal out, Dripjob shoots out drip messages for the course of like a month. Have you won any jobs from it, or people responding to them at the very
I,
least? What's that been like?
yeah, I totally have. I've actually, it's funny, it works so good that sometimes I forget about jobs that we've sent out, and then I get a message back from somebody. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh man, that was like 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
But yeah, I found that a lot of people have been responding back. We've been getting a lot more jobs from that, and that's where we really were lacking before Drip Jobs.
Before you signed up for Dripjobs, I think you probably heard about it, right?
Yeah.
There was some apprehension, of course, new software. What is a piece of advice you have to anyone that I show this to, or put this soundbite into, to them? Maybe they're on the fence. Maybe they think they have a good system. They're using Joist or some of the other estimating softwares.
Yep.
What advice you'd give to them?
Yeah, that was totally me. I was using one of those cheaper softwares. I was on the fence, a little more money, smaller business, do we really need something like that? And I'm in the mindset now that it's the total opposite. Like if you're a smaller business, like you definitely need something like this.
That's what I
Like,
say.
yeah, it definitely because I'm like an owner operator, so I'm still in the field. So it's like almost impossible to work all day and give back to everybody. Yeah. So, implementing this has been huge. It saves so much time for us. Like it's a no-brainer. I think like if you're on the fence, definitely do it and you'll thank Tanner and myself later.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Are you sending the booking link to people that call you?
I am now. I saw that you did that and I was like,
Oh,
that's
that button
genius.
there. You saw we put the button there?
No, I didn't see the button. There's a button.
Yeah, on the app it says new request at the bottom.
Yeah.
And all you gotta do is tap it, punch in the number, and it shoots them a text message with your link.
Oh wow. See
Yeah,
that's another thing I love about it too. It's like it starts off, it's a great system, but you keep improving it and it just
yeah,
gets
we're
better and better and better.
bringing it, and I love that because it's so easy. And just for anyone listening, what that does, someone calls you, typically like it used to be, all right, what's your first name, last name, email, phone number, address, and you're trying to get all this information. You write it down somewhere, or you type it in your calendar. But now we just give you a link to send them, and they fill it out. It goes into Dripjobs in the right spot, creates an appointment request, and sends them a text and an email in seconds. And you can get back to doing what you're doing. And you being an owner operator right now, you're in a vehicle, you're probably going to estimates or checking on a
Yep.
job. Like you don't have time for all that, man. So that's cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm glad it's working.
Yeah, dude, it works so good. And I think when we met at the PC, I kind of told you, like I was on vacation with my family, at Disney World, about to get on a ride with my daughter, and 2 leads came in. Normally, I have to call them back real quick. I got on the ride with her, got off, and Drip Jobs already followed up with them, and they booked both the appointments.
Oh man, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, like that time to me is invaluable.
That's huge because you would have had to say, hold on, I got to go take care of these leads real quick because you were getting charged for them.
Right.
And you had to step away from your family in that moment, call them. Now, if they didn't answer, you would have had this feeling like, damn, like I got to, now that would have been on your head
Yeah, exactly.
the whole time. I've been there.
Yep.
And then this thing followed up with them instantly. It's almost like you had an office admin in the office while you were at Disney.
Yep, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it was handling business for you. And you didn't
Yep.
have to text her or him to be like, hey, follow up with that lead.
Yep, exactly. So that right there is just, the value is crazy. Like it's priceless.
Right there is one of the best testimonials I've ever heard. And I've been doing this sort of system for a while, but when it became Drip Jobs, that was a good one right there, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, nah, no problem, man. I love it.
Thank you, brother, for your support. Anyone listening to this, please take heed to Chris's advice. He was in most cases just like you. I think he has a business breakthrough that you could go listen to on the podcast somewhere. But thanks, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man.